If you like Souls-like games, Another Crab's Treasure is one of the more unconventional ones. It has a cute, stylized art style that doesn't fit in with the traditionally dark and gritty tone many Souls-like games tend to adopt. Don't get me wrong, it has all the hallmarks of a Souls game, just with a bit of a softer edge. Another Crab's Treasure is a third-person action role-playing game. In it, you take the role of Krill as he hunts for the shell that was taken from him. It's a pretty big deal since it's his home and that's where he lives, or at least he thinks it's a big deal, big enough to take up arms against anything that stands in his way. But there's a deeper corruption spreading through the ocean that's affecting most of the life under the sea, turning it aggressive and mean. Not only does this give you more reason to take up arms or claws, it also makes it so you don't have to feel bad about all the people you murder. While Another Crab's Treasure is a Souls-like, it's almost like a Souls-like with training wheels. Combat is a little simplified since there's no stamina to worry about depleting, but all the other features you'd expect in a Souls-like game to have are there. Bonfires, respawning enemies, shortcuts, experience that is dropped at the spot of your death, etc. Developer Aggro Crab didn't really do much to change up the formula. What makes Another Crab's Treasure special is in its execution, its characters, humor, and setting. Most Souls-like games take themselves so damn seriously, but Another Crab's Treasure is funny and often cute, making it stand out amongst its peers. Why offer more difficulty in darker settings when you can just have a lot of fun? Not that Another Crab's Treasure isn't difficult. As with other Souls-likes, even the lowliest enemy can be dangerous. It takes memorizing enemy behaviors and learning how to fight them to survive, especially when fighting bosses. If you die in Another Crab's Treasure, you drop your microplastics and shell where you died. Microplastics serve as the souls in Another Crab's Treasure and can be used as currency at shops or upgrade stats such as strength or vitality. If you die before you retrieve your body, those plastics are gone forever. Another Crab's Treasure has a pretty overt message on pollution that remains center stage while never seeming preachy. In fact, the underwater creatures have made a bit of a cargo cult out of the garbage that is thrown in the ocean. There are entire cities built from trash, enemies use trash as weapons and armor, and you even use discarded items as your primary means of defense, your shell. Shells are pretty important in Another Crab's Treasure. Each different shell type has its own attributes like weight and special umami power. Heavier shells make it harder to dodge, while light shells allow Krill to be more nimble. Each shell's umami power can also be important while fighting off enemies. This umami power stands in for spellcasting and can work either offensively or defensively, giving Krill access to special attacks or buffs. Shells also work like shields would in other Souls games. Krill can duck into a shell to block attacks. If you time blocks correctly, you can perform a parry. The ability to riposte, however, is locked in the skill tree. The skill tree in Another Crab's Treasure is divided into 4 main disciplines, each with 2 branches. You don't really have to worry about specializing, as there seems to be plenty of crystal shards around, which is the currency you use to upgrade your skills. The different skills can drastically change how you play Another Crab's Treasure, giving you access to unique and powerful abilities. There aren't different weapons in Another Crab's Treasure. All you have is your trusty fork. This fork can be upgraded to do more damage, and it can even be turned into a hammer through skill points. However, don't expect to find an array of weaponry for Krill to use, because he's stuck with his fork. As you upgrade the fork, it transforms from a rusted piece of junk to something shiny and deadly. Skills, upgrades, and new shells aren't the only way to make Krill more capable of taking on stronger foes. You can slot in passive upgrades called stowaways. They're only active as long as you're wearing a shell, but they can bestow some pretty powerful buffs. And with the right skills, you can create some synergies that make the difficulty of Another Crab's Treasure pretty trivial. If you don't want a challenge, however, there are ways to play Another Crab's Treasure without going through all of the frustration. There are a wide range of assist options that let you change many aspects of the game to make the gameplay more palatable. You can even give Krill a gun. There isn't just combat in Another Crab's Treasure. Another very un-Souls-like feature is the inclusion of jumping and a wide array of jumping challenges. Krill even has a fish line that allows him to traverse up designated areas, making Another Crab's Treasure feel a bit like Sekiro at times. Developer Aggro Crab might not be widely known, but they should be. They put out great games with a unique style of humor. They just keep having bad luck with release timing. Back in 2020, they released a fantastic roguelike game called Going Under, which happened to be the same year that Hades hit version 1.0. Now, with this Souls-like game dropping on the heels of No Rest for the Wicked, it might be another case of bad timing. Another Crab's Treasure is my favorite non-From Software Souls-like game. It's unashamed to be a Souls-like while also adding its own spin on presentation. I absolutely loved my time with the game and would recommend it to those who have played Souls-like games for years or those looking to get their feet wet for the first time. Thanks for watching. We are Culture Combine.